Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And as this is hot off the presser, we're proudly sponsored by High Point Access Limited, your number one stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. If you mention the Ramble when you're asking for a quote, you'll receive 10% off any works. Find their details in all the links below. Thank you to High Point Access Limited for your continued support of the Blades Ramble.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
I'm begging, don't you pull me away. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is hot off the presser. Chris Wilder has just finished his press conference. If they're like that every time, a nice little neat and tidy 20 minutes, you'll do for me. Chris, he'll do for me anyway, let's be right. So, how did you find him this morning? Let me know. I thought it was okay. In decent spirits, but it feels, again, I go back to it. It feels very like it's one result. We move on to the next one, and that's the attitude I want him to have. That's the attitude we all should have. So let's get into what he's been saying then, and then I'll take some comments from you guys because I can see him already flying in. Thank you to everyone that's getting involved. So Adam Oxley from Radio Sheffield started us off. He says, from your point of view, then Chris, enjoyable weekend. He says, yeah, enjoyable weekend. That lovely feeling. Again, this is done, sorry, just to break off straight away. This is done with transcript AI. So I'm trying my best to rely on a third party to get these notes rather than me scribbling everything down. So it's more of a summary of what he said rather than verbatim. But hopefully I get in as much of what he said as possible. But if you think I've missed anything, then get it in the comments. But I've read back and sort of gone through it, which is why I'm a couple of minutes late, because I always want to make sure it's as I heard it. I've taken a few notes on side just in case. So he says, yeah, we're an enjoyable weekend. That lovely feeling you have on a Saturday night, it stays with you for quite a while until the next game. And that's what we're all chasing. Delighted for the supporters as well. I'm happy for them. I've got to say, I thought they read the game brilliantly on Saturday. Knew when we needed the support. The timing of their support was exceptional from my point of view. He likes saying from my point of view, doesn't he? When the players need a lift, just before half-time, when they got into a rhythm, they lifted us again. And the start of the second half was really good and positive as well. So a great combination. Yeah, good weekend. Adam says everyone talks about the win at the weekend, but I imagine the clean sheet was just as important as getting the win itself. He says, yeah, I loved the last 5 minutes. I didn't think it is a lie, because I could see him in the last 5 minutes. He might love him in hindsight, but he's a liar if he says he loved those last 5 minutes, because I could see him. Yeah, I didn't think it was sustained pressure, really. Again, you may think that in hindsight. Your body language tells me something different. We just put an extra man in midfield, and the presence and introduction of Danny Ings showed everybody what we know. He knows the game. Again, I thought Danny Ings played really well. Wilder obviously did too. It was interesting looking yesterday at his career and Ben Mee's career, the amount of Premier League games they've played together, played between them. He says, and Danny, I think, has gone for a combined total of about 75 million in transfer fees. That's right up there in terms of Sheffield United signings. So delighted with what he brought us as well. Second half late on, jumping into centre halves, playing like a proper centre forward. You're always worried when you play against Watford. Maybe their collective didn't do enough, but individually they've got players who can score out of nothing. So you're wary, but I loved the last 5 minutes. A couple of long throws to deal with, and we defended them really well. The art and desire of keeping the ball out of the net. This is something we've talked about, innit? The resilience and the character that they're showing. Something we did last season. It wasn't pretty. But like he said, it's an art form, keeping the ball out of the back of the net sometimes. Cooper didn't have loads to do. He says, I think he had one shot to save in the first half. Wasn't a difficult game for him. And as I said afterwards, every championship game, especially with 2 in a week like this, it's not easy to win. Tell us about the subs and their impact, says Adam. People coming on and making a difference. There's lots to talk in football about using subs effectively. That's going to be vital for you getting the most out of not just your team, but your whole squad, isn't it? And he says, we've always done that here. I don't see the point in putting someone on for 3 or 4 minutes. If you're going to put them on, you've got to give them an opportunity to change the game. There's also an art to seeing the game out. It's not negative. It's being professional, doing the right things. We've always tried to give the players a real chance to have an impact from their point of view and a tactical one. He says, look back to what Arteta said before. Wilder's mentioned this in a previous one, but he also said, you think back to York and Cole, and then up front for Man United he's talking about, and then Solskjaer and Sheringham came on. It gave teams something different to think about. Ollie Solskjaer, just breaking off on a tangent, was known as a super sub for years. A lot of people would hate that tag, but he was phenomenal in that role. I was pretty strong with the players recently. The ones not playing aren't doing enough to put pressure on those who are. The ones who get the opportunity can't feel entitled to a shirt. They've got to raise the standards and make an impact. When you come on, you've got to be ready and make a difference. I thought Andrea Brooks was really good on Saturday when he came on. Gyro came on for his first minutes in a Sheffield United shirt. Gyro Man Mountain, not Reader. People could see why we brought him in. Nice, calming influence, knows the game. I'll come on to that again in a minute. Danny coming on. Shaq's made a good introduction too. And Harrison, someone who hasn't reached the season's heights for me, last season's heights for me, for one reason or another. When he stepped on the pitch, I thought it was outstanding. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Harrison Burrows played, not outstanding, that's a bit strong, but I think he played well. And he's clearly one of the players that he's talking about that nobody's entitled to a shirt. Me and my mountain were talking about it on 2MB last night. There was one header late on, talking about Burrows, absolutely full commitment. They were going up with full-back together. He showed he was right up for it. For me, it's about improved performances and results. We should have got more from our first 4 games, I think. It's fine margins and little details, but you've got to do a little bit more. Handle that pressure individually and collectively. Saturday was, I thought, our best team performance of the season against a dangerous, talented side. Adam then says, does that have to be the platform now, the standard? He says, yeah, it's got to be the standard, the bare minimum. We have to set the bar high. The relationships between the players, the standards, they've got to be set. Players have to strive to reach the levels they've shown before, here and at previous clubs. Jaff's second half was how he should be, Jaff at Tanganga. It does take time, a little time to settle, but we haven't really got time to waste now. From his point of view, McGuinness, Ben Mee, I thought the performances were good. We're having to make some physical substitutions at the moment, which isn't ideal, but performance-wise, City was better. Saturday, he talked about Samari being good as well. Saturday was the best of the City's best performance of the season, so yeah, standards are set. We want to get better as the season goes on, but if we can get that level of effort in every department, we can win football matches. Adam then asked any more clarity on Gus Hamer and his timescales. He says there's a medical meeting now. It didn't look great on Saturday, walking around the pitch in a brace on his knee, but I don't believe it's long term. I've used the example before of 9 to 12 month injuries, but this is nothing like that. It won't be available this week, but we'll see how it develops after the medical update. I noted on here, and it's been flying around social media anyway. We've heard it's around 8 weeks. Possibly 7 now, depending on when he did the injury, but 7 to 8 weeks, Gus will be out. From what we're hearing, anything sooner is an absolute bonus. Adam then asks, what about Tom Davies? Again, we'd heard 2 weeks, but some people have commented that were a couple of days ago, and some people have commented 4 weeks, so it may be like that, because Tom Davies is very unpredictable in terms of fitness, but he said he's back out training now. He's one we've talked about for a while, might need a little bit more time to get stronger and avoid a setback, so that could lean into those that have thought it's a little bit longer time scale for him to come back. We're missing that experience and quality. I'm disappointed for Tom, really. His performance against Southampton was excellent, showed for 60 minutes why we're desperate to get him around the team. He'll be disappointed to miss the last game, but hopefully we'll have some positive news this week. If not Tuesday, then hopefully Friday night. That'd be a really quick turnaround for Tom Davies if he can be involved in the squad from Friday night, leaning on what we've heard. I'd be surprised. Any other changes expected in the squad? He says, no, the group's the group. Blaster's back training again, possibly after the international break like we talked about. Gus and Tom, hopefully by Friday. We'll see. The international break will help. Getting a few of the lads back will be good for the group. He'd mentioned Chongi as well. He's going to be back after the international break, he thinks. The fact that Shackleton's come back and Gyro's got some minutes, they're important now, aren't they, with a few injuries, says Adam. He says, yeah, exactly. The reason we brought Jamie in, he's had a tough time. He did his knee at Rotherham last season, then had a foot injury, then another one in pre-season. He's got a big part to play. He's played in the Premier League under Marcelo numerous times. Can play right back in a 4, wing back, middle of the park. Good character, positive player when fit. He was then asked about gyro, which hasn't popped up on the transcript, but he said he offered us exactly what I thought he were going to do, a calmness and composure in the middle of the park. And I agree. I think it's me and my mountain again. We're talking about it last night on 2MB that if he's fit and available to start, it wouldn't surprise either of us if he did. Because I think longer term, certainly leading up to Christmas and depending on Arblaster's fitness essentially, it'll likely be Gyro, Riedwald and Sidipeck as the two, if we can get them both fit and firing. Thoughts on Blackburn and where they're at, says Adam. Maybe not in league position, in the league position that people expected them to be. He says that's the league for you. It's hard to predict. You look at the fixtures and try to second guess results and it's impossible. We've analysed their game against Coventry on Saturday. They were unlucky not to get a result. It was a tight game decided by 2 brilliant Coventry goals. There's nothing in these games. It's fine margins and moments, which we've talked about. We haven't been taking our moments this season, have we? We've got to start quick because they do. They get out of the traps quickly and they'll carry that on from Saturday. If we can produce that kind of performance that we turned in, we give ourselves every chance. If we don't, I don't want us to take a step back. I don't want it to be that we beat Oxford, play well against Southampton, but then don't hit the same levels. I said it to you and I said it to the players. The majority of the Championship will be enjoying seeing us where we are, and we have to affect that. We did on Saturday, and we've got to do it again on Tuesday night if we want to keep climbing. Adam then says, in terms of short-term goals, how important would it be to be out of the bottom 3 by Tuesday or come full-time on Tuesday and certainly for Friday? He says, one of the things about the Championship, unlike the Premier League, is you can go on runs. Last season we did it a few times. We had 7, 8, 9 games of unbeaten streaks or winning runs. We did a lot right then, though, and we haven't quite got into that rhythm yet. We've not done the right things this season so far. But I'd love that. I said to the players, if I'm top, I want to be top by 5 points. If I'm second, I want to be top. And he mentioned that last presser as well. We're all chasing that winning feeling. That's why we're here. We love it when we've got it. We hate it when we don't. And I'll be forever chasing that feeling. I want the players and supporters to have it too. If you saw the reaction to our goal on Saturday, he said, have a look at some of the players' faces. That told the story. Everyone together. That's a good sign that we're on the right track, but we have to continue. I'm not sure whether this is when Danny came in. Danny all came in at some stage, but either way. You mentioned Danny Ings earlier. He's gone for big money, played for big clubs. Same with Ben Mee. They've really bought into the club, haven't they? He says, yeah, absolutely. Like I said on Friday, they're not here to see their careers out. They're humble lads. They've all been... they have been all through their careers. Everyone you talk to who's worked with Danny or Ben says the same. Top professionals. When you come into a new club, you don't want to give the impression that I've done this, I've done that, and they certainly haven't. But now's the time to really show what they're about. Personality, attitude, influence. I said to all the new lads, the settling in period's done. You've been here a month or so, now show what you're about. Nobody gives you Premier League contracts or appearances for free. Danny's been bought for big money. Ben's played consistently at that level. Show us why. They're not here for a swan song. They're here to contribute in a really positive way. Love that. We need that. We've got a young group, second youngest in the division, and those senior boys bring balance. We've lost experienced players like Kiefer Moore, Vinny Souza, Anel, who I think's top class, who've got top Championship experience. The ones coming in need to know their way around the pitch and in this league. Their influence on the young lads is huge. And that influence you want from the younger, experienced boys too, don't you, says Adam? I think it's Adam still. He says, exactly, they've got to drive their own team as well. I know what I want to take, where I want to take it. The supporters know, but they've got to own it. They should influence and drive this new team. Last week you mentioned plans for January, loans and freshening things up. Is there any progress on that? He said, yeah, we've had internal discussions. You have to have a plan. There's a document gone to the board. Things can change quickly. This was Danny's first question, I think, because he originally asked any, and again, it hasn't caught it here, but he said the question was more like, have you made some decisions on any loans that might go back, was the way he worded the question. He says, yeah, we've had internal discussions. You've got to have a plan. There's a document that's gone to the board. Things can change quickly, of course. Players can change my thoughts positively or negatively. Some might not be doing what I want. Others might force their way in. It won't be huge changes, but there's some positive recommendations to help us after January. The group's too big at the moment. Some younger lads need to go out and play and get some real football. Just on that, the group's too big at the moment. He's brought in Gyro, and I know I mentioned that previously. That's a significant point for me. He definitely thinks we needed more in the centre of midfield. I've said it for 2 years. The under-21s league feels too comfortable for the standard of players we're trying to produce. says Chris. Going Cat 1, testing them against top young players. That's where we need to go. Getting them out on loan is key. And then Danny asked him about Reece Norrington-Davies, for example. He seems to be doing well at QPR. Any thoughts on, is there any way back for him? Or are you thinking about letting him stay? He says he needs to play. Everyone knew that he needed to play. He had some unfortunate injuries over the last couple of years. It's a good club he's joined. And like all our loan players, we've got a loans manager who goes and watches them. Whether it's Billy Blacker in Scotland or Reece down in London, we get regular reports and footage. We've got to look after number one, the club, but it's good to see him playing well at a good level. I'd like to think that he sees his longer-term future here, but there may not be the opportunity here. So we'll have a chat with him and we'll review it in the next 8 to 9 weeks. Danny then said that role, the loan manager, seems quite important now. Players used to go out and be forgotten about, more or else it was just a case of go out and get some games. But they're much more closely monitored now. And he says, yeah, that's right, but now we make sure they're looked after. There are different types of loans. Young players go out to get experience, others where they might see their future elsewhere. Reece will have his own thoughts. Hopefully he wants to be a success here, but if the opportunity isn't here, he might have to find one elsewhere. So yeah, having someone go watch them, stay in contact, report back, really important part of the structure. And then a young reporter, who I think United do this sometimes with university students, and forgive me if this is not the case, but I think Logan was his name. Excuse me, and got the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. So he asked Chris originally for 3 things that he wants to do, he wants to see from these next away games to maintain or improve from the Watford victory. And he says, well, to be honest, it's I can't just highlight 3, but mainly we want to keep the standards high. The mentality was good on Saturday. The feel was good. We set the tone early in the first half and especially in the second. No change in approach, home or away. If we can keep producing that level of performance consistently, we'll give ourselves a chance of winning games in this league. And Logan got a final question to say, finally on Hamer, if it's a worst case scenario of 3 to 6 months, which I'm not sure whether there's any basis to that. And Chris says, I was told you it's 3 to 6 months. And he says, well, I'm just assuming worst case scenario. And Chris will laughing. And it weren't, you know, it were a nice sort of, don't worry, it could be, we're not thinking it's going to be worst case scenario and they won't be out that long in our opinion. Fingers crossed it's going to be a short-term injury. So fair play to Logan. It's not an easy thing to step up and ask the manager questions, but yeah. So that was the Wilder press conference. And again, it were a different tone this time because usually what I've taken from them is more of a rallying cry. Like it's been, what he's been saying is both been like a double message to both the players and the supporters. And I feel like the last couple have been more just directed at the players because I think he feels like the supporters are with us and he's sort of talking about Chris Wilder and the management team and the supporters can see what needs to happen rather than stay with us as a management team and we'll get the players and supporters right, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's been a different feel for me. And it's a clever way of framing it. And he's right. I think the players have to take that responsibility at the moment. And he's just transparent in some of the messaging that he's... Look, in some of it, it's obviously by design, the way he frames things. But I also think he calls it as he sees it. And as a lot of us see it as well. So a lot of the criticism that comes for Chris Wilder is never about what he says. It's about the actions that he takes. So those that criticise him, from what we see in the comments, is he talks a great game and he's right in a lot of what he says, and people tend to agree with what he says. The criticisms of Chris Wilder is whether he can put it into action and sort of, you know, when he's talking about 5 players at the top of the pitch. Well, I thought we were not necessarily 5 players at the top of the pitch against Watford, but I thought we showed a lot more attacking intent. So as long as that continues, then I think he'll continue to turn those naysayers, and obviously the results are the most important thing. So anyway, let's get to your comments. Thank you to everybody that's jumped on and joined in this morning. Matthew says, looking forward to this. Up the Blades Ramble. Thank you, mate. Tom says, morning, Jim. First live I've been able to catch for a while. Love how he's talking in his presser after calling out a few pre-Watford. It just makes you want to run through a brick wall, doesn't it? It does, mate. Yeah, it does. you don't have to sell him to me, as you know, if you've been following the channel for a while, which I appreciate. And yeah, everybody knows what I think of Chris Wilder. Nick says, huge game. Either the momentum shift happens here and we pick things up, or we find out if we're in a relegation scrap for the season. Chris has me motivated for sure. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the Man Mountain. Nice. Speaking of the Man Mountain, this is the view from the mountain. Who's told you that? 3 to 6 months. Logan on the debut presser. Game over. Harsh from you, Man Mountain. Harsh from you. Tim says, Chris is noticeably happier, I think. Let's hope for some momentum now. Yeah, he had a bit more of a cheeky grin on occasion, didn't he? I think he had a little bit of a laugh with Logan at the end, but I found it very businesslike again, Tim, in terms of get those. You know, we were better. It's what I want to see. I'm happier rather than happy, in my opinion. But businesslike. We've got a lot of work to do. I think he will come Friday night. If we've got another 4 and hopefully 6 points in the bag, then we might start to see a different tone. Holly, hey up, Rich, hope you're good, pal. Morning, Jimmy. Hope you're feeling better. It's still, to be honest, I'm in doghouse at home because everybody, most of you will know now. I've got twin girls. Emily's got it. She's 9. Well, they're both 9, obviously. Emily's got it. That means Sophie will end up getting it. I'm pretty sure Sam gave it to me, but that's Mrs. Ramble. But anyway, yeah. So I'm just on the back end of it. I still can't get rid of this cough. But Emily's just started with it, and I hate seeing her like that. Anyway, let's get a run going now. And SSS, if we crawl our way up the table. Top half for the international break will do. Up the plates, up all the top half for international. You don't want much, do you, Rich? Wow. Not started the stream again, Jimmy Pat. To be fair, I was a couple of minutes late. I apologise, Nige. But I wanted to make sure the transcripts were right, or as right as it could be, because I'm not writing it down myself. And let me know whether you prefer it that way, because I think it's a little bit clearer that way. It's certainly a lot less work for me. But I also want to double check everything's right before I go through it. Brand says, morning, Jimmy. It'll be a tough game, this. Blackburn were recently robbed of a home win against Ipswich, so these are certainly no pushovers. That said, hopefully the lads will have some confidence now. Yeah, I think every game's tough in the league, and that's a very sort of easy thing to say. But anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and that's why we love the Championship. It's very fine margins, and teams are very close together now, closer than they've ever been, I think, in terms of chances of beating each other in the league. So no result would surprise me here, but they are 22nd. They are one place above us. So things haven't been going right for them, whether they've been unfortunate or just poor or a mixture of both, because I think that's what we have. We've been a mixture of both. We've been poor and we've been unfortunate in the odd game. Then we'll have to wait and see, but we've got countdown to kick off tonight at 7 o'clock. I think it's at 7 o'clock. We are scheduled for 7. It's just whether I have to do Brownies run, because I'm doing Yorkshire's Finest with Cal at 6 on Ramble FC. And then I'm over back on Blades Ramble here, doing countdown to kick off at 7. If Cal can stop calling. But yeah, hopefully the lads will have some confidence now. Lewis with the $9.99. Happy Monday morning to you, pal. Thank you very much. That's very generous of you. Here's to the start of a positive week and 3 more points at Blackburn. Up the Ramble, 10k before Derby Day. I hope you're right, pal. I hope you're right. It's free to subscribe to the Ramble. If anybody, I know we have other tiers that you can level up and stuff like that, but for those that aren't aware, and if you enjoy our content, liking the video really helps. And if you're not already subscribed, just click that subscribe button, and it just means we come on your feed more regularly, and you can find us a little bit easier. That's all. There's no commitment. You don't have to put an email address in or anything like that. It's just a click of a button, and it really helps us out. But yeah, we're aiming for 10k. We're on 9,870 at the minute. 130 away. We've got a few bits planned if we can get to that 10k target. But thank you, Lewis. And I also almost missed up the 5 PB. It'll be 4 PB soon, mate. Don't you worry. Jack says, massive week. There's 2-1 Blades on Tuesday and 2-1 Blades on Friday. Come on, lads. Still work to be done. We're a step in the right direction. Young apprentice Jack trying to get into the 5 PB fold. Top man Lewis. Yeah, he is a top man. Thank you, Beast Boy. Pete says, morning, Jimmy. I think it's at the end of Logan's run after that, up the plates and all the rambles. I think, and I'm assuming you harsh lads, Pete and Man Mountain, are not aware. And this is my assumption, but I think Logan will have been a student, to be honest. And we've got to cut him some slack. Come on, we're better than that. Brad says, the clean sheet will do a world of good. Do him a world of good. Hard work and desire to put the bodies on the line to defend. Cooper in the goal was clear to see on Saturday. I agree. That's the desire that we've been missing. Jaffet Tanganga came in and showed us that against Middlesbrough when he first signed. And we were all thinking, well, why is he the only one trying? Well, now we seem to have started a little bit of momentum with that. Ben Mee's been an incredible asset to us. I think McGuinness has done okay as well, done well. I think it's fair to say. I'm not blown away by Mark McGuinness, but I think he's done well, and if unspectacular. So yeah, we are building a solid foundation, Brannon, and the clean sheet will be huge, I think, hopefully, going forward. And fingers crossed for another one tomorrow night. Remember the last time we had a 3-game week? Let's not talk about that, pal. Let's not talk about that. Yes, I do, but it's obviously started different, hasn't it? Started different now. Jack says, what I really liked about our play for the goal, as soon as O'Hare passed the ball into the box, he ran straight into the area for the tap-in. Right place, right time, it'll happen. That's what we've been calling for, isn't it? Get into the box. Get in there, and that's how you score the majority of your goals inside the box, don't you? David says, morning, Jimmy. Nice that he always makes us feel so good. Up all the rambles, up the blades. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Hope you're well as well. Dave Moore will be on our next Meet the Ramblers Platinum exclusive. Positive Jack says, love Campbell, but he needs dropping if we aren't going to go 2 up top. Playing into form isn't working. We need a striker that's firing. I would like to see Danny Ings involved. I'll give you my team tonight on countdown to kick off. But I can't see him dropping Tyrese Campbell. I might be wrong. Brett says it's turning. The league, up the league we go. Keep positive and enjoy the highs. Such a great Ramble community to enhance the match day. Let's stick together through the bad and enjoy the good times together. Love that, Brett. Thank you, mate. Ray says, morning, all busy period now. Game's coming thick and fast. We'll take points now from these two, but would love 6. We can do it. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades, up all the rambles. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Raymondo. Hope you're good, mate. Yeah, it's a busy week for United. It's a very busy week for the Ramble. I'm on 3 times today, as I've already mentioned. We've got a watch along tomorrow for the Blackburn game. We'll be on directly after that for 90 after 90. It's non-stop, and we love it. That's how we like it, isn't it? Big T says, now all, second half much better. Kick on. Now then all, I think it'll be. Second half much better. Better kick on now. Kick on now, up the blades. Tony, who did our Ramble on the road, that's flown, by the way, Big T. I put it up just before midnight last night when I finished editing it. And there's about 3,000 views on it already. So a popular Ramble on the road from Big Tony, who I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Big T, but I think you're doing both Blackburn and Preston. I may be wrong, but you let me know, pal, if that's the case. 7 says, you've got a very good chance of 3 points against Derby next week. Derby have been awful. Yeah, one game at a time. One game at a time, I think, this is a key game. If it was Blackburn at home, I'd be very confident of 3 points after the Watford game. But away from home, I think it's another really good test for us. And I think it's could be a turning point for us. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, we'll come to Derby, obviously, when we cross that bridge. Very pleased to hear Wilder's views that Cat 1 is very important, says Tim. Seems to be at odds with what we heard from Betis. I think Wilder's just always said it how he sees it, and he wants it on record that he wants a Cat 1 Academy. That's a veiled push at the board, isn't it? It's not a strong kick off or anything like that, but I recognise how important this is, and that's what we need to do. It will like that with Prince Abdullah as well. That's Chris Wilder, and that's what probably turns some. Excuse me. That's probably what turns some owners' noses up a little bit. Not that they don't. I think his work on the pitch, on the field and results based, can't really be brought into question. But I think stuff like that does irk owners. But they've come cap in hand to him. aren't they? 5 games ago. And he's already starting to turn it. So he does hold a bit of power. And he will speak openly and honestly about certain things. But I think he knows where the line is. I think he knows where the line is. We've seen him overstep the line a couple of times when he's completely lost his rag. But I think it were a very clever, subtle way of doing things, Tim. I agree with you, mate. Psycho says, just come in Hamer, worst case scenario. I know. Ian says, players show effort, commitment and passion on the pitch. The fans will buy into it every time. Up the Blades. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Ramble. Yeah, I thought they did that on Saturday. I thought they did that. I were delighted with particular result, but performance was good as well. Jimmy says, agreed there, Jim. When Wilder came back, there was already a disconnect with supporters, as well the downer with the players, as well as the downer that the players were on. Fans back on side. Now it's all full focus on the squad. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Any sign of those OK jersey shirts, by the way, Jimmy? I had a look last night and they still hadn't been dispatched. So, really looking forward to getting them because I've got some absolute buttes on the way. So as soon as they land, Brant, I'll let you know, pal. Dave the Nose, he really knows. Morning all, 3 points felt good. Missed last night. Hoping to feel myself by the end of the week. 2 wins would definitely help. Any news on Godfrey? Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I'll speak to you about Godfrey, little bits that I know, Dave, but nothing major. I don't know if he's fancied, to be honest, pal. And yes, you were missed last night. 3 Mardy Blades became 2 Mardy Blades. Dave the Nose has been slightly under the weather. Get well soon, my mate. You are a huge part of our channel, and we miss you on screen. And somebody needs to shut Mountain up every now and again. I can't do it on my own. SLB says, do we know if Ings is fit enough to get into the starting 11? I hope so. I think it would do Campbell some good to see someone else step in, similar to McCallum stepping in for Burrows. It's a great point. It's something we discussed last night on 2MB. I hope that might be the case. Gage says, notice how many bodies were in the box at points. Love that. Yes. It's something we've all been crying out for. It's not something that the odd 1 or 2 of us have spotted. And look at us, we've been saying, haha, we're right. Everybody that I speak to has been, get more bodies in the box. And I think that's a big reason, Gage, as to why people are calling for 2 strikers. And I'm part of that. 2 strikers up top. And I think Gus Hamer being injured lends itself more to that because it becomes less of the Gus or Cal decision because Cal is the only fit one. So he can be behind 2 strikers, in my opinion. So we'll see. As I say, countdown to kick off tonight. Statman Jack says, a couple more wins this week on the road. See Derby off. Big upset at Coventry and finish off with another win against QPR. 21 points before international break. Ready to bury the Wendy's. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Statman Jack, another man making a claim for a 5PB spot, I believe. So that is becoming a popular spin-off group within the Ramble Platinum chat. So calm, boys, calm. You're chosen. It's not something that you push your way into. You have to be chosen. Lee says, sorry, Jim, missed the first 25 minutes. As busy at work. Anything gone off? We'll watch back later. 199 watching on YouTube. 193 now, unfortunately. Only 28 likes. Hit the like button, folks. Helps the channel's reach. It does, mate. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. It's more of what you'd have expected, Lee, to be honest. No groundbreaking news. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround. It was pleased with everybody's performances, particularly the subs' contribution. Yeah, I think nothing that will surprise you, to be honest. He was vague on Gus's timescales, so we'll see. Just seen, Jim, that EFL are allowed the Blue Half to sign another emergency goalkeeper. Surprised at that myself. That is because Pierce Charles is injured. They got Horvath, who is Cardiff's 3rd choice goalkeeper, Cardiff in League One. And he got sent off into the weekend. So they need another keeper, apparently. And whether you're allowed to do that, sign 2 emergency keepers, I've no idea. I don't get that rule, to be honest. I don't get it. Are you telling me they've got nobody on their books that can play in goal? They've got no youth team goalkeeper underneath Pierce Charles that can come in and do the job, because I don't believe you. Lee says, get well soon, Dave the Nose. Hope to see you back on stream soon. We need the 3rd wheel. I'm the 3rd wheel. as always, great job. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that, mate. Si says, Hamer's leg in a brace. Yeah, it was, pal. It was. Big T says, yes, mate, I'm on both, and no prawn sandwich will stop me. Bovril in a pie will do for me every time. Johnny the Clown says, morning all, great win, much improved. Campbell was the weak link, blowing before our time, looked like either not fit or carrying a knock. McCallum was a highlight, our new long throw merchant. Yeah, it's another weapon that he offers us, isn't it? It's not, I don't think it defines him, particularly on that performance, but he did really well, didn't he? Mick says, Burnley fan, time for you guys to push on now and get them lots spanked on Tuesday. Yeah, the big rivalry between Burnley and Blackburn. Hopefully Ben Mee can nod in a winner from a set piece or something like that. That'd be fitting, wouldn't it? Or Danny Ings to get off the mark, the former Burnley striker. Any of those that want to write themselves, I'm all for it. Just get us the win. So, as I say, I will thank you to everyone that's joined me on stream today. I've got through everybody's comments, which is good. And I'm back with Cal Fowler tonight, I believe. I haven't spoken to him yet, but I assume we're back on tonight at 6 o'clock on Ramble FC. If you want to join us there. And then we'll be straight over to the Blades Ramble straight afterwards at 7 o'clock for your countdown to kick off, preparing for the Blackburn game. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Make sure I'm pressing the right button. Up the Blades!